And Evansville football has now become a tradition for families for more than 100 years. As we continue our theme of sports here, the high-flying offenses and organized Friday night events are actually something that took a long time to develop. It was actually the late 1800s when the word football was first uttered in town, and as history shows, the first few years were very rough.
It was only a few decades after the country was finally connected by rail and a few decades before World War I that football came to Evansville.
The schools, at the time, they were playing basketball, baseball mostly, so this is a new thing where a bunch of guys would get together and form a team.
1894 is the first time football is recorded being played by club teams or a group of guys who just decided to get together. High schoolers played whoever they could, no matter how old.
One year in the early 1900s, Evansville High School played Vincennes University twice, once up at Vincennes and once back here, and they beat them both times.
The age gap and distance mattered because rules were still being learned. It was common in the early 1900s to see a rule book like this one for fans to be able to follow along, and things were simpler than what we know as football today.
There's no passing. It's all a ground game there. So these guys, it's more equivalent now what you'd think of a rugby game there. These guys, and they'd pile on, and people got hurt, people got killed.
The rough nature of the game became a grim reality one fall day in 1908 involving the local YMCA.
In November of that year, they're playing a team from Henderson. Albert Dougherty ended up on the bottom of the pile. There, came out paralyzed and died a few days later. And it was one right after that happened there, the high school made it mandatory that the parents had to give permission for their kids to play, and most of the people refused.
It was the very next year after that death that the state of Indiana began to regulate football on the high school level.
Both the Spanish flu and World War I also played a big role in slowing high school football down in the early 1900s, but once the city was able to grow and add more schools in the 1920s, football did along with it, becoming what we know today and what we'll see on the field tonight.